So I'm overdue for a bit of an update on where the boat's at. I've been promising Mum for quite a while now that I'd send her a video and show her where things are at, so you get to share this, or everyone gets to share this. I know a few friends and family have been wanting to see what I've been up to as well. Things moved on a bit, or quite a bit actually, probably from the last video. It might not seem like a lot's happened, but everything's a little bit slow and painstaking. Nothing's moved as fast as I would like it to, and it's not really from sitting on my ass doing nothing. It's just that things take a bit longer, and I'm trying to get it right. As you can see, the hull's definitely changed. It's now been fiberglassed. I've got fiberglass all the way around. I put another layer of fiberglass under the waterline before I finished, but it's a solid Huon Pine strip plank hull, but I've been chewing this over for as long as this has been in the shed, and it's been in the shed for 15 years, so it's a long project. It didn't need to be fiberglass because it is a good solid hull, but by fiberglassing it I can pretty much give it a lot more certainty of a longer future. Normally you'll see a lot of hulls fiberglass because they're rotten and they're trying to preserve them for the last minute, or for as long as they can, but this is more of a case of extending its life and making it requiring less maintenance, if you like. So there were some of the glued strip plank seams had opened up where the glue had dried out, and I've splined those and glued them back together so everything's solid, but the glass will stop that from ever happening again. It'll make it easier to maintain in the future and should last another 50-60 years, I would hope. And so that's the big thing. The mess on the top, this is peel ply. This will come off, but actually it helps seal the surface and give a better finish, or a rougher finish for fairing it over the top. But I'm leaving it on there because it's keeping a lot of the rubbish off, all the dust and mess off, until I get back to doing the final layer. But so the bottom, other than another layer of glass that I'll do underneath, everything underneath is pretty much solid and finished until we paint it. And I think I'll leave the painting till the very last thing, so because that'll get knocked around a bit while I move around, and I've got a good mate helping me with the painting, so I want to wait till he's available so we can get it proper. We need to fair it first, so get it properly faired and painted. But I'll show you around and show you what's happened. Biggest thing I think is that the cabin sides and the cabin top are now on, which actually gives it a bit of a better appearance of actually being a boat. One of the things I had to do to be able to do the cabin was get it movable. As much as I had it on a trolley with wheels, and I'll show you that, so I've always had wheels on the outside here. The weight of the middle of the boat meant that the frame dragged, so I bought some extra wheels. These little trolleys, which were $56 each. They carry 6 tonne each, and they're pretty amazing. So I can pull it out and back very easily, and so I had to do that to get the cabin top on, because the front end of the cabin sits up under the loft. So with it wheeled out, I had clear access to the forward end of the cabin. And the really nice thing about this now is it looks more like a boat. There she is. I've built a few houses, and I think, just like houses, the nicest milestone is getting the lid on. I don't know why. There's all sorts of wonderful milestones, but this one to me gives you a better sense of what I'm ending up with. So just to explain, up forward here, those little black dots are where the mast will sit. There's a compression post underneath, and they're compression pieces that will stop the ply deck from collapsing under the weight of the mast. There'll be a butterfly hatch there, which is both sides of the hatch will open up. And main hatch back here. Cockpit. I've painted the cockpit because I've started getting bits and pieces in there, so at the back there, this little piece at the back is for a connector for a autopilot. That's the throttle control, and this will be the shore power and solar power plugs will go into there. In the cabin, there's the back of the cabin. So what you'll have, there'll be a hatch that will, washboards that will come down through here. So there's still more to go on here. There'll be some framing on there for washboards to go on, and there'll be a sliding hatch will go across the deck. And then on here, I'll just put this down so I can show you this. This is, so that's the engine control panel over here. So start the engine, the rev bit, everything. And then just inside here, open this up. This opens up so that inside here we've got the windlass control, and that's the GPS, chart plotter, electronics, everything comes up on there, and that's pretty well everything for the boats on there now. Wind, depth, the whole lot, all fed through a system called NMEA 2000, which is a new system to me, but it's pretty wonderful. Ties everything together. So down below, so perhaps the biggest change below is the headroom. This is pretty much the original design height for the Herreshoff H28. It's not intended to have full headroom height, but with this butterfly hatch here, I'll have a spot where someone my height, and I'm not particularly tall, I'm 5'9", 5'9.5", something like that, 176 centimetres. I'll be able to stand up in the butterfly hatch there to put my pants on to get dressed. So it's head height here, but it's not intended to have head height. I'm pretty comfortable with it. I haven't bashed my head much in here. But other than that, the main changes here is all the cabin size. There'll be portholes, two portholes either side. They'll have to be cut in yet. Fore cabin, there'll be a hatch up forward. These are the electronic panels, which I still haven't got hooked up. I've got all the wiring in, but these aren't yet hooked up. That's I've got to get Jim from Odyssey Marine Electrical to come back and help me with that. That's a bit beyond me. It's a couple of plate rack that goes up into the galley, and that's nothing else. I don't think has changed much back here. I'll turn it around and show you what's back happening up here. So back up top here, it's still things to do. So up on the top side there will be a bit of a glasses rack. On the starboard side over here will be up above the nav area. There's a spot there. There'll be an iPad up here, which will be a repeater for the nav system outside. A little handheld VHF. There'll be another VHF down here. That's the little push button that I had to open the hatch outside. I'll turn a knob on that out of Huon Pine. That'll fit over there and tidy that up. But other than that, I don't think much else has changed down here. I'm really, to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy with how this is coming out. I think the colours have actually worked out pretty well as well. So, there you go. So, the other thing to show is that the lights. I may have gone a little bit overboard with lighting, but I'm pretty happy with the way it is. The mahogany up in those little cabinets up front was worth showing off, so I've just put a couple of LED strip lights up in there. Over on the starboard side over here, I've got some reading lights which can easily, that will probably mostly be off, but they're just above the seats. Without the reading lights on, so there's just some nice light, nice ambient light really. Lights up in the forepeak as well. In the chain locker there's a little light up in the front there. You might be able to see a bit of a blue glow. That's just the, I might actually try and cover that up, but that's the way the light is, so you can see where the switch is. but I'm pretty happy with that. Over the galley and over the nav station, I have red light. I don't know if you can't quite see that. Can't get the camera, but there's a red light, white light. Might not show up on the camera. It's a red light, white light for the galley. I've got the same over the nav station, and I think that'll work out pretty well.